my mindful adventures, ready for your weekly dose of the blog post. This week we're talking about the post. Let's talk about the post. I keep saying past. The post. I keep saying the post. I'm trying to say the past. The past that made me. So this week I'm talking basically about my testimony. And this is kicking off the Taboo Month because I've heard a lot of people say like you shouldn't talk about your past or like the past, like you shouldn't like really think about it, kind of thing. And I'm like, I get that, but at the same time, like I feel like we should be looking at our past because it has some very valuable information for us to tell us like what we like, what our preferences are, what our boundaries are, things that we accept, what we don't accept, and like it helps like also shape like our future because the decisions that we made, we learn from those. We learn from the interactions that we have with other people. We learn from all of the things that we experience in throughout our day. And like 2 seconds ago was your past. So excuse me, by that logic, I shouldn't be looking at that either. So um take the I feel like it's important to take time to look into your past and to like think about like the things that you experience and the things that you like and didn't like and things that you want more of and things you want less of and people, places, experiences, all that type of stuff. But anyway, that is why it is the first one of Taboo Month. Plus, I wanted to say my testimony. If you've been watching these videos, I did say I wanted to show my testimony at the not show, but like speak about my testimony at the end of September and it's the end of September, beginning of October. And yesterday I couldn't this morning I couldn't put the video up this afternoon actually. Because the sun went down so fast. So now I'm just gonna I have my notes and everything, so I should be good. Okay. So we can stay on track and I can get this up by 10 so you guys can see it. Yes, okay. The purpose, obviously, like for me saying my testimony, like I just want to be like proof that life gets better, things don't stay the same forever, and like especially when you actively change your mindset. Like some people go their entire lives not thinking that they can change their mindset, thinking that they can change their life, and thinking that they can change like their experiences and things of that nature. I mean, like, yeah, you can't change what happened, but you can change like your outlook on it and the way you look at it, and that affects your entire life. That affects you as a person, as a whole. And I just want to like share like the things that I went through and like how I am now. Like you see me, I'm pretty sure if you've seen me like on social media or anything like that, then you've seen like I seem like a pretty happy-go-lucky person, like a pretty excited, happy person. And that's really because I feel good showing up and doing this. And like, but even that, I still had like things that I had to deal with, things that like in my past that like really bothered me, that really got to me. And I'm not here to shame anybody. I'm not here to tell anybody that the things that they went through are not as serious or that they're more serious. I'm not here to like compare. Like that's the last thing I want to do when I'm trying to like help people. I'm not trying to compare hurts, because what might have been a paper cut to me, to you it's like losing your entire arm. So I can't sit here and pass judgment. I'm not that I would anyway, but I'm saying like also for you, like don't judge. Like if you're like, oh, I didn't go through that, my whatever wasn't as hard or mine was worse than that, it doesn't matter, because we all go through shit. We all go through shit. And I just want you guys to understand that I'm just saying this because I want you guys to learn that it is possible to become a different person, to become a better you, to chase your dreams and like, no, not really chase, but go after your dreams and like do it, like, what makes your heart sing, not just like go with the flow, the rat race, like do that type of stuff. But anyway, I have a pen in my hand. I'll just put it in there. Okay. Anyway, so first and foremost, before I get into the actual content, trigger warning. There are there's explicit things that I talk about, specifically abuse. I mention I just mentioned things. I mentioned abuse. I mentioned different types of abuse. And I like in some detail, and I also like I'm trying to think of what the obvious was it substance use. If I remember, I can't assure that I will remember completely before I say it. I will try to say, like, this next section I'm talking about abuse or talking about something, and I'll figure out a way to put the indication so you can just skip to that section where I stop talking about it. And then I also want to put the same resources that I have available on my blog post in the description. So if you need to get to any of those, or if you need like immediate help, I'll have that all on the bottom so you can get to all the links, and you can like text or call whoever you need to talk to. Most of them are US based. I think they're all US based. So I think one of them is also like North America, just North America, Canada, and US. I don't know, but yes, I just wanted to make sure that those are available for you guys, just in case you need to, in case you talk to somebody, just bring up memories, and you're like, I can't do this. That's fine. I just want you guys to know this is a safe place. This is why I'm sharing. But of course, like I said, I hope that you learn something and that you gain something from this. Um, and I'm not here to like diagnose or treat anything, but I just want to express myself. Okay. So yeah, trigger warning. So the first thing that I want to talk about are my like the beginning, like what I remember from before things like started going south for me, like before things started like becoming really intense and I was struggling and dealing with a lot of things. Um when I was a kid, I had clear cognizance, and which that basically means is that you have a clear knowing. You just know things, and you don't know where they come from, why you know them, things of that nature. And that's basically what happened with me when I was a kid. Like I'd be like, oh, I blah 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 blah, and my family would be like, oh my god, that was actually like correct. They'd fact check me later and be like, oh, that what you said was actually like correct. Like how did you know that? I'm like, I don't know. I just knew it. And that happened a lot. And I would always say, my brain told me. And then my grandmother, my Mima, get into relationships in a minute, um, would tell me like to say, "Oh, I have a brain. I know how to use it." Because I think there was like this episode of Sesame Street or something like that where I don't know. I think it was Bert, not a Bert. It was Ernie. It was one of the Bert and Ernie skits, and they were Ernie was had a comb, and he's like, "I have a comb, and I know how to use it," and like that's kind of where it came from. I think it was Bert. I don't remember. Maybe it was Grover. It was one of them. I know it wasn't Elmo. um, but yeah, so there's that, and then I also had my bear here, since I was 8 months old, and they're my best friend in the whole world. Like I basically been through like pretty much everything I'm talking about with Bear. Bear has been basically a steady force in my life, and I'm not gonna let you see him up close yet because I have explanations. But yeah, me and Bear, we've changed, we've gone through things, we've experienced a lot of shit, and we're here on the other side, healing together and becoming acquainted again. Yeah, I know you're thinking, a 27-year-old grown woman with her stuffed animal. Like, I don't go fuck. This is my best friend. You can fuck up. I'm pretty sure you got something that you like that's inanimate object that you're like, I love this thing. So same diff, but this is basically the same age as me. Okay. Um. So when I was a kid, besides that, I had clear cognizance. I also had clear hearing too. Like I didn't clear audience or clear hearing. I didn't say that in my story. Oh my gosh, it's such a pretty hot. Everything's gonna be okay. Okay. Had to take that in, but yeah. So I also had clear audience. I would hear things. I also was like kind of like a medium, so I was able to like see spirits and things. I still can. I can still do all these things. And there's like other things. I think I have. I don't know if I have like all the clairs or not, but like I smell things, I hear things, I feel things, I know things. Sometimes I can like I feel like I can hear what someone's saying, like thinking in their head, like all kinds of stuff. It's I'm still trying to figure it all out. But anyway, when I was a kid, like that was very apparent to me. It didn't like, but it wasn't like I didn't have a name for it, so I didn't like quite know. But now that I'm older, I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense. But yeah, in the blog post, I only talk about clear cognizance because that was like one of the main things that like I just knew shit. I just knew shit was happening. I knew things were not right or things were not the way that they should have been or whatever. But yeah, so this was like basically up to four. I don't remember really much. I believe in reincarnation, so I believe that the veil like finally dropped when I was like four because there was things I remember when I was three and things I don't remember like at all. Um, and like before that, there's like little spots here and there. I remember like thinking things before I did major things like learn how to walk. When I was crawling, I remember crawling to my grandfather and my papa. I remember being on someone's shoulder. I wasn't small for very long, so like there was definitely things I remembered. I don't remember anything from like being a baby though. Maybe I do. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, yeah. And then so at four, that's when things kind of like started like I started like really learning things. Like I was like understanding the world around me. I was understanding the people, my family, natural world. I was getting really interested in the natural world. We would go camping every year, and I would always like be just so in awe, just like surrounded by nature. And I'm always in awe, surrounded by nature. I know there's like a field behind me, but like dirt smells good. Like, they just plowed it today. The dirt smells good. The trees, whatever. And then the clouds are covering up the sun, so I don't have to burn up. I know everything's gonna be fine. This video is gonna be out before 10. I'm claiming it right now. Thank you in advance, universe, the creator. I'm claiming it. Okay. um, and I'm just like I've just always been in awe of everything around me, and I would learn like by taking things apart, looking at things, like observing things, like I notice like the seasons. Like I paid attention to everything. The moon's one of my favorite things right now. She's waxing right now. She's waxing in the third quarter. So she getting there. Third quarter, second quarter, third quarter. She waxing gibbous. That's all that matters. Um. So like I know like I just know that I was into the natural world and I was into animals. I loved animals. And one of the things I wanted to do was take care of animals. And I was like, I want to take care of all the animals. Like, I want to do that. And like, but I also really love horses. Like, horses are my favorite animals. So I was like, between taking care of all the horses or taking care, or not all the horses. I'll take care of all the horses. Taking care of all the animals or becoming like a horse trainer. And then I wanted to be a cheerleader because I like the outfits. I mean, I don't know if you could tell, but I like crop top, short shorts, like, you know what I mean? So like, I was like, I'd be a horse trainer by day and cheerleader by night. But then when I found out that veterinarians can like specialize specifically in horses, I was like, well, we gonna do veterinarian during the day and cheerleading at night. So I was just four. I'm a 4-year-old kid. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I mean, I know what I'm talking about, but I know what I'm talking about. I wasn't even interested in like the yelling. I just the outfits are what like got me for cheerleading. I just keep coming back to that because I just think it's so funny that like that was something I was really interested in, and now I like dress like Laura fucking Croft, and it's awesome. I love Laura Croft. That's another thing too. I love like I mean she didn't have like crop top, but she had them short shorts on with the twin pistols, man. The combat boots or the hiking boots. Like I can't deny, man. That was my shit when I was a kid. Okay, but yeah. So so I had some things. I had things that I know I wanted to do before I like my ego really like set in and like really became a thing. And there was like a lot of things that like I was like just open about and very like I was in tune with other people's feelings too. Like I've always been in tune with other people's feelings. I've always been in tune with how people feel, how people are like what they're going through. Sometimes I can tell like exactly what it is before they even say it. And sometimes like whilst people are talking, even now, like people will talk to me about something and as they're speaking, I'm already hearing it before they can even get it out. And it's like it's very interesting. It was also part of clear hearing, clear cognizance, the telepathy. Yeah, I mean, so there's that, and I just wanted to mention that before I get to the real struggle, because it really, honestly, it all hit like a bag of bricks when I was 5 and 6. That was a bar. It all hit like a bag of bricks when I was 5 and 6. Okay, so basically, I'm gonna start talking about a relationship I had, and then I will remind you about the trigger. Not yet, not yet. I promise. So when I was 5 or 6 or whatever, I can't remember if it was 5 or 6 or maybe it was in between that because my birthday's in September. Obviously, I just last week I said, you know, and my birthday, it was Monday. It was this Monday. It was the 29th. Anyway, and it's kind of like a weird place because like when I was a kid, I would measure everything by school year. So it was like now it's not now, but like now I'm trying to like, well, now, yeah, I'm trying to like figure out like when things were happening. But anyway, I was 5 or 6 around there. And my grandmother, she was my Mima. I'm gonna call her my Mima because that's what I'm gonna call her throughout the thing. Um, I'm not dropping no names, just using titles that they told me to give them, these people. And she was homeless, and I don't know why she was homeless, but she was homeless, and because before she was in an apartment. Because what I would do when I was a kid, I never went to daycare or anything like that. I was either with my mom's brother, my uncle, his wife, and 3 kids. They're older than me. They're probably watching this. Hi guys. Um, and my papa, and or my Mima, and like my grandmother. When I was Hello, sir, come here. When my grandmother, when I was younger, she was never rude. She was never like awful. Like she was never like just straight up mean. And I never saw that in her until I turned like 4 or 5 when she moved into the house. I mean, that's when I was around her more often because I was living there. I was living there with my mom and my papa. My dad was not in the picture like that. I went to him every other weekend. He's also an important part of the story. We'll get to that later. Because it didn't really start getting crazy until it's like everything was almost in like it was like very distinct things. Anyway, I'm just thinking about my past, and it's just I'm fascinating because I wrote about it last night, and now I'm talking about it, and it's just like everything's like lining up, and I'm seeing clearly. Anyway, like the lessons I needed to learn. That's what I'm saying. But anyway, so anyway, she was homeless. She moved into the house, and she was like living on the couch for a little bit because it was me and my mom living there, and then like a year or a year and a half later, or whatever, we moved. Yeah, because it was before I turned 7, or as I was turning 7, turning 8, I think. We moved into apartments, 2 bedroom apartment. But while we were living together, I started to realize just how awful she really was. Like I didn't know because I didn't see how she like treated the adults. Like I just didn't really pay attention to that. Because I was a kid. Like why would I be paying attention to that? Specifically how they're interacting. I just really was paying attention to how people were interacting with me, and if something was going on, then I would see how that. But I was a kid. But she moved in and she started nitpicking and basically trying to like control my life and telling me. I mean, I was a kid. Don't get me wrong, I was a child, but she was like very strict and very specific. Like you had to do this a certain way, or else. And the night that I realized that, okay, this is a trigger warning now. Because like I would get spankings when I was a kid, and like I'm not saying like, oh my god, we should be spanking our children. But for me it just didn't work. It was not something that really worked on me. I was just kind of like, okay, whatever, like give me the spanking, whatever. Fuck off. I'm fuck on with my life. Like I don't give a shit. um so that's the kind of like person I was and still am, honestly. Like honestly, like fucking beat me, okay, whatever, bro. It is what it is. It's like just gonna go back on with my life. I'm not gonna like go back and do the same thing again. Like it's not like there was a reason, okay? There was a reason why I was acting out. But she would threaten me with spankings and stuff like that. And there was this one night my mom had went to go hang out with her friends because she had a life. My mom had a life. She was a life. She does her own thing. She's not just a mom and worker. Like she does her own thing. Like I commend her for that because like a lot of parents lose themselves in their parenting and they don't hang out with their friends and they just become like a parent and whatever the fuck else they are. Mom, I mean not mom, obviously mom, or parent, spouse, coworker, boss, whatever. And that's the roles that they take on. And it's like, what happened to Tina? What happened to Jim? What happened to who you are? Like who are you? You're not these hats that you wear. Anyway, um, yeah. So she was out with her friends, and my grandmother was like, I did something. I can't remember what it was, but I did something that upset her, and she was like, she got mad at me, and she gave me a spanking, and I remember like crying and being really upset and like sobbing. I mean, yeah, I had a reaction to it. Don't get me wrong, like I reacted to it, But like after a while, like after I like finished crying and stuff, I sat there and thought about it. I was like, whatever. Um. Meanwhile, I was crying, I was sobbing, kids be like crying, hyperventilating, all that shit. I was doing it all. And she like just like ignored me for the rest of the night. And then like when it was time for me to go to sleep, like she got me ready to go, or my papa got me ready to go to sleep. I can't remember who got me ready to go to sleep, but one of them got me ready to go to sleep. I think it was her. So she was fussing with me the whole time. And she was like, basically, I mean, like, I was able to do most of the things on my own, but she was fussing at me the whole time, watching me, like hounding me kind of thing. And, give a second, just want to check real quick. Okay, okay. Um, oh, there's a little hoverfly in front of the camera. Hi, bud. Guys might see it. I don't know. Maybe won't behind. Anyway, she anyway, so she was like, bitching at me the whole time, and she was yelling at me and calling me, probably calling me names. I don't remember everything, but I just remember being really upset, really sad, really like I was just like, I wish my mom was here. Like, fucking, this never happened with her. I mean, I'm not saying that my mom was a pushover and let me do whatever I wanted, but shit was ridiculous. I recognized it was ridiculous as a fucking 6-year-old. And I remember her like basically locking me in my mom's room instead of my room. She locked me in my mom's room, and like she was like mad at me. Again, I don't remember what it was. I just remember being so upset. And I remember her walking away, worried about she would come back and like spank me again. And I I just remember her going into the living room, which was like down the hallway, so I could hear it like directly. And I was just like, because I was laying in her, I was crying, I was like queen side of the bed, and I remember hearing her just like talking and laughing like nothing ever happened. And I thought to myself, like, I don't want to be in a world where people this is trigger warning for suicide, but um I don't want to be in a world where people can just do like shit like that to people and then they just go back to life like nothing happened. Like, what are we talking about? Like, there's no like anger, there's no like I need to like decompress. It was just like, I was just, whatever. And it like really fucked with me. And it like I'm not saying like, if you discipline your kid you shouldn't be able to like go back to like, your whatever, but at the same time it's like it was just so it was really rough for me. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it really got to me in a way. It was like you just came in here and yelled at me and bitched at me and told me like, all this shit, and then you beat me basically, and then you leave me in this room and tell me I can't come out until my mom comes home or whatever the fuck she said, and then you leave and then like start talking and jaw jacking and joking like nothing ever fucking happened when everyone in the house knows what the fuck just happened. And it's just like, what? And it really fucked with me and it really got to me, and I really that was the first time in my entire life that I really wanted to die. I was like, this is fucked up. I don't want to be in a world where people can just, if she just lives here, like she's always going to be here. Like, I don't want to deal with that shit. I don't want to deal with that shit. And I was just like, I remember putting myself, like, wrapping myself up in the blankets to the point where I couldn't really move. And I was like, I'm just going to suffocate. Like, I'm just going to like suffocate in these blankets. That's what I'm going to do. And to like prove to her that she can't do that shit to people and think it's like okay. Of course, I'm 6 and I wasn't like exactly saying all those words, but still, it was just like, that's fucked up. For me, it was fucked up. And I was just like, I can't, I can't see myself living in this world like that. And then, um, hi, you're very green. As long as you don't jump on my head, we're good, bro. Okay. Actually, could you, thanks. Okay. Hopefully it doesn't, I flew away. Anyway, it was huge grasshopper. I mean, it's probably a locust now, but it was like, it was big. Anyway, um, yeah. So I wanted to die. That was the first time I ever wanted to die. Like a fucking 6-year-old wanting to kill themselves. Like, I was like, this is fucking awful. And I'm not saying like it was honestly ramping up to this. Like, it was pretty bad. And then I want to say like maybe like a couple months later, maybe it was a year later or whatever. Um, I was again more abuse. I was at the house. It was her and my papa again. My papa was kind of like a pushover. He didn't really like. He was like, whatever you say, I'm gonna just whatever you know, kind of like. But he wasn't like he never said that, but like that was his attitude. Like he just didn't want to like get in her way. I never understood why he loved her. They got divorced while around this time, so it was just kind of like interesting. Like now looking back at it, it was just interesting how he did that, put up with her like that. But whatever. I mean, you know, people love who they love. Who am I to knock it? Anyway, there was this time like the only time she ever really got physical was just one time where she really, I mean, really got physical. I was like upset, like something had happened, and I was crying, sobbing again, like really bad. But it was before, it was like not, it was way before dinner, and she was like, she was like, she was telling me that I need to go sit in my room and like whatever the, I don't know, it wasn't thinking about you what you did. I can't remember what she said, but like sit in my room until dinner's ready, something like that. Um, and she like I was in there crying, you know, I was crying because I was a really emotional kid. And I was freaking out, and then she came in when dinner was ready because my papa was making like his like my favorite, which is beef stew with like potatoes, celery, carrots, beef, obviously beef stew beef like cubes. But it was so good. I remember it so good. I remember making stew one time. It was like his. It was anyway. Um, good memories. I still love the stew. But this night, um, she came to come get me after he finished making the stew and everything, and then I was still crying, and she was like upset with me, and then she like wiped my face. And I remember my face like stinging after she wiped my face real hard, and then had me sit down at the table, and I wasn't hungry, and I didn't want to eat because I was upset. And I'm not that kind of person. When I get stressed out, I don't eat. Like I just don't eat. That's just, I don't do that. I don't stress eat. When I get bored, I guess that's another form of stress. I eat then. But like when I'm like stressed out, like the other stress out, I don't eat food. I don't hungry. But I told her, I'm like, I don't want to eat, and she got mad at me, and I was like, I got my papa to like agree to like not make me eat food. Um, eat that for that night, because I was like, I don't want to eat food. And he was like, that's fine, as long as you don't waste it. And I was like, yeah, I didn't touch it, like put it in the pan or like keep it for tomorrow or whatever. But she did not have it. She was like, you're gonna finish that food. And so I, of course, started crying again, and I started eating the food slowly. And I remember eating like pieces of celery and carrot and some beef, but I didn't really touch the potatoes because they were really hot. And because they were big chunks of potatoes. And I remember her, she, it was taking me forever. I finished. At this point, was always a slow eater, and I always finished eating after everybody else would, and that was just like my story for like the longest time. And now it's like the reverse. But I scarf my food now, and I really would like to get back to when I would take my time to eat. But anyway, and so I was like, you know, at the table longer than I normally am, and she was getting mad at me. She was like, you're not eating fast enough. I guess she'd clean up the kitchen or whatever the fuck. And she came out and she's like, you're not eating fast enough. She had a spoon. She's like, if you don't eat faster, I'm gonna hit you with this spoon. And I was like, the fuck? Because no one's ever hit me with anything besides their hand before, or a belt. And well, a belt wasn't until later, but no one ever hit me with like, you know. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And I was like, whatever. So I'm just gonna continue eating. And then she came back out and saw that I wasn't eating faster. And then she started hitting me on my head and my back. And she was like, I mean, she was like wailing on me with this spoon. And like on I think she hit me in my face too. I just remember being so, I mean, of course I'm crying again, and I start choking, and I'm eating the potatoes, and I'm eating the potatoes. I'm literally choking, and I can't breathe. And I'm, like, I was like on the table. She's I say ex medical professional, whatever. And I'm banging on the table, and I'm like choking, you know, because like, you know, when you start crying and you're sobbing, you're hyperventilating and shit. Like I had fucking potato in my esophagus. It was there, and I was trying to get it out, and I was coughing, and I was choking, and I was like, I was crying, and it was because it was so painful. It was all of these things happening at once, and I was trying to tell her I was choking, and she said, bullshit, you're making up excuses because you don't want to eat your food. And I'm like, no, like I'm getting emotional right now, because it's like, how could you do that to someone? How could you do that to anybody? Not even just a kid, but Jesus Christ. um and she's like, you're just making excuses so you don't have to eat your food. And I'm like, no, like I'm thinking to myself, I'm fucking choking. And this went on until I finished my food. Thank God I didn't die. And then I thought I was done, and she came out with cottage cheese. And I didn't, at the time, I didn't like cottage cheese like at all. And I was like, I already told her, I'm like, I'm not a big fan of cottage cheese. She never made me eat it before. And then all of a sudden she's making me eat it because she's mad at me or something. And then she starts hitting me again with the fucking, because I'm not eating the cottage cheese. It was just plain cottage cheese. There was nothing in it. It wasn't applesauce or anything in it. It was just plain cottage cheese. And thank God my uncle came in at that time. He doesn't remember this, but he came in. It was like a guardian angel because he came in and he was like, he was coming to get his mail because he used to live there. It was their high school, middle school, high school house. My mom and my dad, and my dad, my uncle. And he came to get his mail, and he was like, "What the fuck are you doing, mom?" And she was like, "Oh, she wasn't eating her food, blah blah blah." And but she's like, "I have to leave for the girls because she buys shit all the time. That's one of the things she does. She still does it." Um, and she went to go get it, and he was like, "What's going on?" And I told him what happened, and he said, "Just go throw it away. Tell her you ate it. Just lie. Just go throw it away." And I was like, "Okay." And I threw it away, and I just kind of like slid under the radar. When she asked me if I ate it, I said yeah, and but he had left already, and I was just like, I was scared because I was like, fuck, like what if she finds out that I threw it away? Like, I'm not trying to like, you know, um, but she never did. But that was like one of the worst like situations. Like I had never been like physically abused in that way. Um, and next, because after that we moved out. Like I said, we moved out, and I don't remember if I told my mom or not. I don't remember. It was just so scary because my grandmother, and I didn't know, and at the time I didn't know that she was verbally abusing everyone. Like she was telling people horrible ass shit. Like she was telling us that we're ugly, we're evil, like we're going to hell. Like she told me that my smile was ugly. Like and she later came and said that she was joking. Like what are you talking about? You telling she told me, I think I was like 4 when she or 5 when she told me this. Like at that point I don't know that you're joking. Like kids don't know at that age that you're fucking joking. That's not okay. You can't just tell people that. So yeah, she told me that. So for the longest time, I barely smiled. Like it was just, and I think I've just I demoed this already. So yeah, but yeah, and then I moved out, but I was still, going to my dad's house every weekend, every other weekend, and it was like whatever. It wasn't like bad. It wasn't like whatever until this one because at this point because I was 7, I was tall enough to push the pedals and all that shit. So my dad was teaching me how to drive, which is fucking crazy if you think about it. 7-year-old. And he was see he had also showed me what alcohol not alcohol. Well, no shit. He showed me alcohol. Well, he was always drunk. That was one thing. He on the weekends he would drink, and I guess that was just something that he had always done. Just always drank on the weekend. Got super like fucked up. And he also smoked weed. I have no problem with smoking weed, but I have a problem when you mix it like that and then you neglect things. Like I just no. I'm like a one at a time kind of person. Oh, shit, shrink. Yeah, shrink. Anyway, but other than that, he was always like that, and he would drive like that too. Like I knew what drunk driving, like I saw the stuff at the fair, and I saw stuff like on TV, and like I would see like drunk driving can lead to fucking crashes, people dying, not just you but other people. And I was always like kind of nervous about that. But then this one night I was fucked. So it was on New Year's Eve, and we went to his friend's house, and his friend lived over in the reservation. Uh, I forgot to tell you, I'm from Seattle, Washington. So all this stuff is happening around Linwood, Everett area. But anyway, the reservation is actually the Tulalip reservation. I don't know if you guys want to know. But I was mostly just at this person's house. I never really went anywhere else. I did buy some earrings from this one guy. I still have them. They're really pretty. Anyway, I went with my grandmother and my mom to someone's house and bought those. But anyway, yeah. So we were on the reservation. So fireworks. There's no ordinance. Like people just set off whatever the fireworks they want. So that's what we went over there to set off fireworks for New Year's. And there was this 20 something that was over there, and that's usually not a 20 something over there. Usually they're all in their 30s. I would say they're all in their 30s. At this point, 30s going on 40s, some of them. think one of them was in their 50s, and it was like 5 guys, which I was used to because they're all cool with me. And my dad went over there, smoke weed, and like chill and shit, because guys like to shoot the shit. That's what I learned when I was with them and fix cars. That's what they did too. And so they were over there, and this kid, I don't know if he was selling or if he was buying from them or what was going on, because I had never seen him before, and he was just there. But I mean, at the time, I didn't know anything about that culture. But looking back at it, I think something like that was happening. Um, and So he had a bunch of fireworks from like a couple years, but they were like damp, like they were kind of wet, and so he couldn't use them all. But there was this one bottle rocket that was broken at the tip, and he was like, "Well, tip?" It was like 3/4 of the way down. It was broken, and he was like, "I don't know how this is gonna fly." Like, and everyone's like, "I don't know," because like my mom, my dad and I were pretty versed with bottle rockets. Like we'd use bottle rockets all the time because those were like the only ones that he would like let it be set off in like the city, because ordinance. And people's houses. So we didn't know what was gonna happen with this bottle rocket, and so we just left it for the later. We didn't leave it for later. We just weren't gonna do it. But then I guess they got to a point where they were drunk enough. They're like, we're gonna light it, and I was like, okay, whatever. They were all drunk and high. I was fucking 8 years old. I did not partake. Okay, I was not intoxicated with these people. I was fucking 8. I mean, I might have been contact. I don't think I was contact because when they were smoking, I wasn't allowed to be around them either. Yeah, it's whatever. Anyway, and so they decided to light this bottle rocket. So they lit the bottle rocket, and it came at me and my dad. And my dad literally stepped on me to get out of the way. Like I think I tripped on the fucking ground to get out of the way. Because he fucking basically pushed me down. And I was like, what the fuck? Like my head, I was like, does not compute. Like, why would he do that? That doesn't make any sense. I'm like, maybe because he's drunk. He's intoxicated. Like, I knew that the substances did stuff to him. I just didn't know what. I was a fucking child. So but anyway, I asked him. I was like, after we like ran inside the building, because it was like the garage was like a metal building, and he was like, what do you say? He said, I'm having really vivid images of the inside of that building. It was really nice, like garage, bro. Everett, if you're watching, bro, that was a nice ass garage, man. Anyway, I don't remember his last name. Um, but he was like, he looked at me. I asked him, I was like, oh, he was like, man, he's like, oh man, I thought I was gonna lose my life. I was like, yeah, I thought I was too. Like you like stepped on me, and he was like, oh yeah, he's like, I would basically what he said. I don't remember everything he said exactly verbatim, but what he said was, if we were in a life or death situation, I would save myself every time. And I'm like, what happens if parents loving their kids forever, like save their life, like be a bro, don't abandon your child. And it wasn't like and he never said like specifically like if it was between, no, he did, he said if it was between me or you, I'm saving myself. And I'm like, you wouldn't even like try? He's like, no. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I asked him the next day after he was sober. He hadn't drank anything that morning. It was the next morning. I think it was it was definitely a Sunday. I think it was a Saturday Sunday type deal, or maybe it was Friday Saturday or something. I don't remember. But he said to me, I asked him again, and he said the same thing again. And I was like, okay, so you don't care about me. You don't care about me. You don't love me. Like, you don't give a fuck. So I was like, shit, like, what? Like, okay. And it took me, I'm not gonna lie, it took me a couple years to process it, and it took me a couple years to, figure out like what exactly he was basically telling me, for me to like really open my eyes and be like, oh, he does not give a fuck. Um, and so like that was definitely emotional abuse. I'm sorry I didn't like say anything about the trigger warning. I don't know. I don't know if that's to be a trigger warning, but I mean like I guess I could have said substances. I'll write it down. Um, yeah. When when that happened, I was just like, okay, whatever. But I was also like, freaked out because like I said, he would drive with me drunk all the time. I mean, like super fucking drunk. And I was like, sometimes he would like fall asleep at the wheel, you know, and I'd be like, Dad, wake up, like, what are you doing? Like, what are you like? Don't pass out, bro. And he'd be like, oh, like bullshit. And I'm seeing myself like, dude, if something happened, like I would be completely fucked. Um, he wouldn't even try to save me, even if I could be saved. I don't think he would try to fucking save me. Like he would just be like fucking awful. Um, and then another thing too is that when I would go to hang out with him, he would have kids over all the time, and he would be like, oh, they're here because they don't have dads, and I'm being a dad for them like I am for you. And I was thinking to myself, like, dude, you're only doing the bare minimum. How are you being their dad if you're not even being my dad? Like, what are you talking about? um and it was so obvious too, because he would literally leave me with them, and then he'd go and do whatever he's gonna do, probably smoke weed, be on his computer. I don't fucking know, read his manuals. I don't know what he all did. Fucking probably other stuff, adult things. And it was just like, he would literally just leave me with these kids. Like, the fuck are we talking about? Um, let's see what else. Yeah, and he also just wanted to be like the best friend kind of person. He had a couple rules, but they weren't like crazy like that, because he was staying in his with his girlfriend at the time in her apartment. So she was paying the bills and all that. I don't know what the fuck the arrangement was, but I know he was in school still, so, or going to vocational school or night school for computer. I don't fucking know what he was doing, but basically she was providing for him. I don't think he had a job. I really don't think he had a job. Um, so, but anyway, but yeah, and so I wasn't able to, like, touch her shit, of course, because it's her house, and obviously it's hers, and I'm not supposed to do that. But he would buy me stuff to like use, and I think she would buy me stuff too. But I never really saw her because she was always working. Even on the weekends, she was always working. I barely ever got to really see her. So, but anyway, I mean, she was cool. She was definitely a cool person. I hope the best for her wherever she is. Um, because they ain't together no more, and that relationship was so toxic for her. Lord Jesus. Um, yeah, and there was this one thing I didn't tell you guys, but like he would constantly fall asleep. He was like a true drunk. Like I would have to like take care of him, like make sure that he went to sleep, make sure that he got in the bed, make sure he like covered himself up because he'd wake up cold or whatever. He'd be complaining about it. Make sure like I was basically taking care of him. I'm a fucking child taking care of a grown ass fucking adult. Where in the world is that normal? Like, especially if he's able to take care of himself. It's not like he had a disability. Nigga was just drunk. He was just fucked up. Like, I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. Um, and then another thing, like he literally, another trigger. This is another trigger warning. He literally like left me at his house. Like, so what, at the apartment, right? He said he was getting the mail. He went out to go get the mail, and then he never came back. And I was like, "What this is?" I'm laughing because it just reminds me of like all the abandonment stories. Oh, my dad said he was going to go get the milk, and he never. My dad said he was going to get the mail, and he did come back eventually, but it was sketchy. Um, he's like, "I'm going to get the mail. I'm going to come back," and it was like 1, 3 o'clock. Like it wasn't even like that crazy in the afternoon. And I was like, and he was gone. And it was like 30 minutes. I was like, oh, maybe he's at the landlord's or over at the one of his other neighbors that he likes to hang out. And I went to go knock on their doors, ask them, hey, have you seen my dad? Like, whatever. And they're like, no, we haven't seen him. And I was like, okay, because I don't know where his car is. I don't. The mail's not in the thing. Like he's gone. The mail's gone. Everything. He's just gone. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna wait for him to come back. So I was like, maybe he went to the store or something real quick or whatever, and whatever. I don't know. And because I was really understanding person, people pleaser, people pleaser to my core. Because when he would get mad, he would also like be very verbally abusive and very loud and like obnoxious. He would basically throw a fucking temper tantrum, and if it was something that you were using, he would throw that shit, like he throw it like in the trash, like he no, nobody no. But anyway, yeah. So he left, and he had gone to the friends I was telling, just literally just telling you about. He went to their house until like fucking 10 at no, it was like 11, almost 12 at night. And he said, oh, I thought you'd be cool with it. I don't know where the fuck he went. And I was like freaked out too. And like his girlfriend didn't come back until it was dark outside, so it was probably the summertime. I would say she came back around 9, 10, something like that. And at that point, I was home alone the whole time, freaked out, watching, cartoons or whatever, just like trying to like not freak myself out, psych myself out, because I would do that all the time with him. Like I'd be like, I don't know if he's just gonna like fucking leave and never come back. And that was always something that I was always worried about. And now I can see where the trap, like, where that's coming from. But yeah, she was pissed, and she was like, I mean, she was furious that he left me alone for so long, his girlfriend. And my mom was mad too. She was like, "You want to come home?" I'm like, no, like, we're supposed to spend the weekend together, because he would always complain if like we didn't get enough time together, if I didn't like whatever. Even though he did not give a fuck. Like he literally he'd ask me, how are you doing? I'd be like, oh, I'm good. He's like, okay, and then continue on. Like there would be no like, how are you doing it? Well, he would ask me how I'm doing at school, and then I'd say like I'm okay or whatever, and then he just keep going. It was very superficial. It still is superficial. If I talk to that man, he does not want to know about anything deep that I'm going through. He doesn't give a fuck. He just, I don't know. If we're good, then it's gravy, I guess. Probably something that he told me a long time ago. I have like something in my nose. You guys are probably like, oh man, she be doing that coke. No, I don't do no fucking coke. I don't snort no crack. I don't do none of that. There's something in my nose. Probably a gnat. Anyway, so yeah, he like literally fucking abandoned me. And like Melissa told me, I mean not Melissa, Lily, her name was Melissa, his girlfriend, said that I could like stay there, or not stay there, but I could like use your phone whenever I need to. And she said it's fine, because like at that point we were paying by the minute. If you remember, early 2000 house phones. I don't know if hers was like a landline or not, but you pay by the minute. Like there was no like unlimited fucking plan. There was no like you get whatever you were paying anyway. So I was always scared to use her phone. And then my mom had this whole incident prompted my mom to buy me my first phone. It was a little Sanyo, little cute little thing. I couldn't add anything on it. I couldn't go on the internet on it. My mom knew the password, and only she could add and like take off people's numbers and stuff like that. So, and I couldn't call anybody if their phone number wasn't in the phone, which is really cool. Honestly, I think that's like such a cool feature. Like, I definitely want to do something like that for my kid, especially if they need to be somewhere where there's no phone, that they can just get to readily. Then I definitely want to do that for them so that they have that access, to me, kind of thing. So I honestly, I think that's such a great idea. She was ahead of her time. But yeah, so yeah, the whole situation ended up landing me a fucking phone. And I was not like, I was, oh my god. I mean, I got to text my cousins, but then again, it was by the minute. Like you were sending texts, but you were paying for each text was like a minute. And so I think it was like 30 cents a minute or some shit like that. Like it was, after you send like 100 texts, it's crazy. It's crazy. Um, so yeah, he literally like abandoned me, and like basically told me, beforehand, that like, he doesn't care about me. And it was great. It was just wonderful, wonderful, copacetic. I'm all great about it. I'm happy. No, I'm not. I'm fucking, it's irritating. Sorry if I'm like being like sarcastic, but it's just like, bro, what? Like he couldn't even lie to me and say like he would try to save me or do what he could. Like he just straight up was like, no, 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 no thought up here. It was just like, I don't care. Brutally honest, straight to my child. I don't give a fuck. But then again, I can't really like say anything, because he did break my adopted sister's arm, and then had the nerve to tell me that it was some boy. And then turned out, no, she told me, she was like, no, he broke my arm. And I was like, oh well, that's great. And went to jail for it. I think for like a month or some shit. I don't fucking know. So it was like, you're a liar. You never show. Okay, so another thing too, because my mom would invite him to like recitals. Because I did dancing for a little bit, recitals, school stuff, like, things that he can attend. He'd never show up either, or he would show up and he'd be late as fuck. Like he'd be literally like at the tail end, barely seeing anything, and being like, "Oh yeah, I was here the whole time." No, you weren't here the whole time. Everyone saw you walk in late. And he did that like throughout my entire life. Like, he either just never show up, or he, whatever. So it was just kind of like, he's just this person in my fucking life, like, that is here sometimes, and sometimes they're not. He's just, he's not consistent at all. So I just, emotional. There was nothing emotional like between us really. So I was just kind of like, but at 10, I was like, no, I'm done. I'm not doing this with him. No, in him. I'm not doing this with him anymore. I'm not going over there anymore. Like, yeah, I get to go over there and do whatever I want. but for the most part, like he's not even punishing me, and he throws fits, and like I don't want to deal with that, and he doesn't care about me. Like if we get a car wreck, I'm fucked. I'm done. I'm gone. I'm a ghost. I'm a fucking, you know what I mean? Because he's not gonna come try to fucking save me or help me. So I lean more on my mom, and like basically like a lot of these patterns, like a lot of pattern for me was like every month. I think from 7 until now, I've had like PMDD symptoms. I don't know if anyone else has had symptoms like that. I need to talk to the subreddit, see if they have anything on that. I'm curious to see if there's anybody. But before I even started menstruating, I started having PMDD symptoms, this premenstrual disorder. If you want to go look it up, I'll save you some time. Basically saying it is PMS from hell. Like you think PMS is bad, PMDD is even worse. Like you could literally, there's so many, like the symptoms are so bad that like it's akin to, like the symptoms for it is akin to like autism. Like I'm not saying autism is like the worst thing in the world, but I'm just saying like specifically for social skills, when it comes to like socialization, when it comes to expressing yourself, the symptoms between PMDD and autism are like, oh, and Asperger's on the spectrum. They're like this, like you can almost not even tell the difference. So it's like I don't know exactly. I might just be autistic. I don't know. No, but no, I don't think it was, because it was literally every week, every month, once a week. I would act out without fail, and it would be to the point where you can mark it on a calendar every time I would be acting up, and I didn't do it on purpose. It just freaking happened, and I'd be left cleaning up the mess. I'd be punished, of course, and I have to deal with that. But that added to everything. So on top of that, was imbalanced, emotionally imbalanced, and it's not having too much hormones. It's your body not being able to reuptake the hormones that it let out. So there's the hoverfly. So we're not 100% sure even where this shit comes from. It's not something that you can cure. Like you could try hormone therapy, but like it's spotty. So this is something that I gotta deal with for the rest of my life, and no one knew. So I was getting punished for shit that in a way it's my fault, but it's not my fault, because it's like, oh my gosh, a freaking ass. It's like I've been like possessed. It feels like when I told my therapist, when I finally went to go see a therapist in college, I said it's like I get tied up, put in the trunk, and then PMDD gets in the fucking driver's seat, and floors right off the fucking cliff into the ocean, and we're just going down with the ship. And by the time I get out, I have to fix everything, and then I'm doing it again. So that's what it felt like. That's what it feels like. If you have PMDD, like you understand. I'm not saying like completely, because everyone experiences to a different degree. And then also, I had a horrible cramping, like really bad cramping, to the point where I would wake up in the middle of the night and be in so much pain. Like I would be trying to figure out, like I'd be trying to like rub my stomach. I'd be on the floor, like in the living room, like on the floor, on the cool floor, like trying to cool down. I didn't know what to do, and it was so painful, and it didn't make any sense. And my mom didn't know this was happening until like the fourth or fifth time this happened. She came out and she was like, "I heard you leave your room. Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm in so much pain right now." And that's when she realized, like, "Oh, my period is like coming soon." But it didn't come for another fucking 2 years, so it was like, fuck. I think it came when I was 10, or right before I turned 10. So yeah, it was it's awful. But yeah, so like the patterns, these reappeared in college basically. So when I got to college, because like I ended up moving to Texas in 2012. So I was 13 going on 14. And when I got here, I'm in Texas right now. When I got here, I kept to myself. I didn't really talk to anybody, and I would read books constantly, which actually landed me most studious in the yearbook. And like I talked to some people, and some of them I don't really talk to anybody really anymore from when I went to school here. There's some people I'm cool with. Like if they talk to me, I'm like, okay, cool. But for the most part, I don't really talk to anybody. I don't keep up with them like that. Um, but yeah, I came here to go to school, and I like kind of kept to myself, and I did a lot of introspective and a lot of like learning. And I had my first boyfriend, but I'm not going to talk about him, because his shit was, he was not like, he was bad, but he wasn't bad like the other guy I'm about to talk about. But basically what happened, like when I got in college, I found friends. I thought they were good friends, and then they just like perpetuated this, like, because when I went to college, I didn't want anyone to know like I was dealing with this thing, and I didn't know it was PMDD either. Like, I didn't thought everyone thought it was just depression, and like the doctor I was working with didn't even like think of it as an option. Like, and when I would tell her about all kinds of stuff, she'd just be like, I don't know anything about that. Here's some pills, and I'm like, that's great. You're great, top notch pediatrician telling a kid to take pills. Anyway, I mean, some people do need pills. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, like, what I know now, like, she should have been suggesting me to go to a psychiatrist, because I went to a psychiatrist at one point, but she had told me that I need to do her things her way, or like I wasn't gonna get better, and I was like, I don't like that. I don't like that attitude. I don't like that. I have to do it your way, the highway kind of thing. It's like, what happens to me, my individuality? What if what you have to say doesn't work for me? Funny, a 7-year-old, I was thinking that thing. It's like, what are you talking about? And she didn't. I didn't like her vibe, and like sometimes you just don't like people. When I was a kid, I was like super in tune to that type of stuff. Like, if I didn't like somebody and my mom was around them, like, she would stay away from those people. And it turned out to be like my intuition was pretty fucking spot on. But anyway, I ended up, being a group of people who basically perpetuated everything. They said that I was lying when, well, it wasn't really the whole group. It was just 2 people out of the group, but I just left the group because they were always together. Um, basically said that I was lying, even though they weren't there when I was talking to this guy. I was talking to this guy. I knew this person, like, they didn't know him. So to them that he was a stranger. But I was talking to him and we had an argument beforehand and we were talking about it at dinner. And then they come in, they start talking to us and whatever, and then we're talking about the argument, and then all of a sudden they just take his side, and I'm thinking to myself, like, what the actual fuck? You weren't even there. This happened last night. You weren't there. What are you talking about? You can't sit here and pass judgment on me like, oh, I'm lying. Like, you weren't even there. And like, when I recall conversations, I try to be as accurate as fucking possible. Sometimes I might slip up a little bit, but for the most part, if I said something wrong, I'm not gonna just sit there and like make it sound like I said the right thing. Like, what are we talking about? Like, no, I'm gonna sit there and tell you the truth. Like, I have no reason to fucking lie. I have no reason to lie. But I guess they just didn't see that in me or realize that I had that capability within me or whatever. I don't know. But I was tired of like having on this mask of like being happy, and I started like I before this I started isolating myself from them, and this was like a year and a half me knowing them, and I ended up dropping them as friends because of that situation, because it was like that was the breaking point, because they expected me to be this person, and every single time I told them like, hey, I don't want to hang out with you guys because you're drinking. I didn't like drinking. I was more of a smoker. I still like smoking. But well, I'm more of an edible person now. But anyway, and I was like, I don't like drinking, especially when I'm on my period. It like does not help me. It dehydrates me. I'm not trying to do that. And I've just never been a drinker. I've just never been a drinker. I don't like alcohol like that. I don't understand how people can just drink alcohol every single day. It just baffles me. My body gets so sick. I can only get drunk once, and then I can't drink for like 3 months. So, that's just me. Anyway, that's what I learned when I was hanging out with them, and they basically emotionally abandoned me. And because like the saying goes is humans will hold on to a recognizable hell, but they will reject a unfamiliar heaven. And it's so true, because if you look at a lot of your relationships with other people, you'll notice that some of them mirror a lot of stuff from your childhood, and there's a lot of childhood wounds that need to be like fixed. And basically, through those situations, I needed to figure out what my worth was, but it did not hit me. It did not, all of this did not come to fruition and really hit me until I got in the relationship with my ex boyfriend. He's, I don't talk to him like that. But my ex boyfriend, and I got with him in college, and he ended up being like so no bueno, not good. Um, but at first, I was like, oh, I can depend on him. He's like a good person. My stuff is dying. I'm probably gonna have to raw dog this in a second. But uh, he was just, it was a toxic relationship. Let's just straight to the trigger warning. He would literally like tell me names just like my grandmother would. He would like basically gaslight me. Um, he would try to manipulate me from talking to other people. Like, he was like, really toxic. Um, to the point where he like cut up my bear, my childhood bear. Like, he cut up my bear and said, "This is what I get for not listening to him," or whatever the fuck. And I was like, "What the fuck?" And he cut up the first time, and then he forced me to fix my bear while throwing my sewing supplies around the room, and I was crying, sobbing, upset because like he just destroyed my childhood bear. Um, and he's throwing my stuff around the room, and I can't like see straight, and I'm trying to see, and but he wants me to get it done in like 3 hours, and I'm like, bro, I don't even know how to sew like that, and I'm trying to like figure it out, and he's being an asshole, and then he did it again, and that's when I was like, no, and it's not just like about the bear, but it really is, because this is my fucking best friend, like. Man, they don't want this story. They don't want this to come out. But he's my fucking best friend. Like, he's my best friend in the whole world. I've known him my entire life. I can't, like, yeah, a person's more important than a stuffed animal, I guess. But like, when you have something if you have something as long as this bear here, they're more than just a stuffed animal. Like, they're a whole ass fucking person because of all the energy and stuff you put into it. Just like with any religion, deity, holy object, all the energy and stuff that goes into them makes them semi-sentient. But anyway, Bear was in a fucking bag for 3 years after that because I was like really tore up about it, and I didn't get him fixed until recently. I sent him to my aunt to get fixed, and he looks like he got stung by a bee, but he's whole again, and I'm happy. I mean, his head got taken off, and I think his arm got taken off, and maybe his ear. I don't remember, but it was no bueno. His body's okay though, and she put like extra stuff in him, so he's like, so he'll last another 20 years. But what this like taught me about their relationship was like, I'm not the same person that I was, and Bear's not the same person that he was. They were. They're they, them. I was also forced by my grandmother to figure out if I wanted Bear to be a him or a her, and I really wanted them to be gender fluid. I didn't know what that was at the time because I was fucking 7. So I was just like, I want. Why can't they be him and her? And they're like, no, you have to pick one because it's confusing for us. And well, Bear is a they, them, she, her, he, him, and mostly a he, him because that's just my preference. But Bear does all kinds of stuff. Bear sometimes Bear booms on his own. Like this bear will haunt the world. No, I'm just kidding. This bear will not haunt the world. If I'm getting cremated, I want to get cremated. They going with me. If that's possible. But anyway, yeah. So I love this bear. This bear is my best friend. This bear basically represents my childhood self. So. And it didn't really hit me until I got my bear back and I realized, like, I'm so happy that I have this bear back. I'm so glad that I have this part of me back that I can heal from, and that I can become, like, the person that I'm supposed to be, and really, like, embody that and just be who I'm meant to be, and heal from the hurt, from the things that happened to me, because I'm not the same person. I don't look the same. I'm definitely not the same on the inside, but now I know what my worth is. Now I know what I can and will not like tolerate, and I had to leave that relationship. I literally had to wait for him to be gone, the boyfriend at the time. I had to wait for him to be gone to leave, and his mother even helped me leave. Like, she helped me get my stuff out of their house and everything so he wouldn't destroy it, because he was literally at this point was destroying all my stuff. I had bought a bunch of like little succulents and he threw them and destroyed them, and it was windy outside, so they're blowing everywhere, and I lost most of them that day. And he's like, that's what you get. Like, that was his favorite fucking thing to say, and he was like, it was there's no bueno. He should have never been working with kids. Just no. Especially not like that. So that was my my, and I was also forced into isolation in that relationship too. Like, he did not like when I talked to other people. He didn't like that I had like guy friends. I have a lot of guy friends. I'm friends with a lot of dudes. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But he didn't like that I talked to them. He didn't like this. He didn't like that, and I was basically isolated with him. Like, I wasn't really allowed to do anything. Like, I wasn't allowed to do anything. Like, he wasn't happy if I did anything for myself, because I had to include him, and he would eat all my food. So I was like overeating. I was gaining a lot of weight. I had lost a lot of weight before I really got with him, and I started gaining it all back because I literally buy something. I'm like, this is really good. You can try some, and then he'd eat the whole thing. and then I wouldn't get anything. So then at that point I would be like, okay, as soon as I get it, I eat it. And then it turned into, I think that's honestly where my speed eating thing came in, because I was eating everything so fast because I was so scared I was gonna miss out on something that I liked, enjoyed. So yeah, but that major shift when I left him and I like got back, like, in a way on my feet, back to like being more me, I was able to find like what the horse what the voice, because like every time I tried to commit suicide, because it was multiple times, I didn't mention all of them. Oh, sorry, trigger warning, I'm sorry. I tried to commit suicide several times, and I didn't, obviously I just said I didn't like mention them all, but every time I would hear like, don't do it, please don't do it, like, no, don't do it, like, we need you, like, you need to be here, like, you can't do this, don't do this, don't do it, it's okay, like, you'll be fine, just don't do this. And I kept hearing that, and it stopped me. I want to say it stopped me a couple times. Actually, it stopped me almost every single time, I'm not gonna lie, it stopped me every single time. There was no, like, actual, like, legitimate failed attempt. Yeah, it was definitely not as fatal as, other people. It was mostly like suffocating and drowning and those types of things. And it was never a cut or anything like that. If you do cut, I like urge you to stop cutting yourself, because your skin is not paper, and you are beautiful and amazing and such a fantastic person. Like, you can feel things other ways. You don't have to cut. You don't have to do these things to mutilate your body, And if you have, cut in the past, like, and you don't cut anymore, congratulations. I am so grateful that you stopped. I am so grateful that you have pushed through that and you have come to the other side. Same thing with anybody dealing with addiction or depression or, suicidal thoughts, anything. Maybe you at one point were an abuser and you don't do that anymore. I am proud of you. I just want you guys to know that I'm so proud of you that you have gotten through that. And if you're trying to get through it right now, I am even more proud of you, because you're taking the initial steps to make yourself better, to heal, and to become the person you were meant to be. And I am so proud of you. And I just wanted to mention that real quick, because I love you guys. I seriously do love all of you. I love everybody. I don't care who you are, what your past is, what you've done. I love every individual person. I don't like everybody. Don't get me wrong. But I love everybody, because we are all human. We all experience things. And we can't just sit here and act like we're holier than thou. Like, I can't do that. I've done wrong things too. All right. And I'm not saying like I was a bully or anything like that. I mean, I've definitely bullied people. It was unintentional. I was not trying to. I feel really bad about that, and I can't like apologize. But I hope that they realize that we were both kids. And it was very confusing for me, because their dad was also doing the same thing, and I didn't realize they didn't like it. So anyway. So, there are things I've done too. I'm not like a fucking saint, but the shit that I went through was not cool. And I want you guys to know, if like you're going through shit, you've been through shit, like, you can get out of it. You're used to this because you're used to it. You're used to chaos. You're used to this bullshit. You're used to this going on. But what if it didn't have to be like that? What if you could actually like step into something that you want to do and become the person that you want to be and not have to deal with that anymore, right? Like, that's the whole point of me sharing this, because I don't feel this way anymore. Sometimes I do get a little bit of depression, because I do have PMDD still, and one of the symptoms is depression and anxiety. So I still deal with this every now and then. Like, even the other day I was feeling fucking depressed. So like, I can't, I'm not completely healed. I'm definitely better, but I'm not completely healed. Just things that used to affect me no longer affect me as hard as they used to, because I realize, like, I'm not trash. I am a valuable person. I'm an amazing person. I'm not going to hell. I'm not a hateful, horrible, spiteful person. I'm not all of these things that I was told throughout my childhood, told while I was growing up, told by people who I thought I could trust, who I should trust, who I should have been able to trust, but I was not able to trust. There's just people that are in your life, that are in our lives, that we feel like that we should be able to trust, but for whatever reason, we can't trust them, because they choose to be horrible. They choose to be like this. They choose to do these things. And if they say they didn't choose, there was a point where they could have made a decision and they decided, no, I'm going to continue doing this. If you have made a decision to stop doing what you're doing, which do what the fuck shit that these people be doing, thank God that you decided to change. Thank God that you decided to get your hands on your own life so that you can take care of yourself, get yourself better so that you're not out here destroying people and tearing them down, because that is the last thing we need on this fucking planet, is more people tearing other people down. That is the last fucking thing we need. Everywhere, in every situation. I don't give a fuck where we are, even the fucking prisons. We should not be tearing people down. That's fucked up. It's so fucked up. Anyway, of course I believe consequences, your actions, they get consequences, but I don't think that you should be the one enforcing those consequences. That's just me. I'm not saying abolish the law or anything like that. No. Not anarchy, no. I'm just saying, like, the overall treatment of people, like, holy fuck. But yeah, like, I realize that because I'm needed, I realize that I'm here for this. I'm here to help and inspire, like, just by, like, I'm telling you guys, I'm so grateful for you, but I'm so grateful that I didn't give up either, because I wouldn't be here sharing this. I wouldn't be here expressing this. I don't know how many people, I don't know how many millions, I don't know if it's going to be billions, I don't know. I know my legacy. I've just started really laying it down. I've really started getting into myself, really start choosing me. When I started choosing myself above everything, setting boundaries, detaching myself from people, I stopped talking to my grandmother. And also, when I moved to Texas, my dad was still paying child support, but he was 3 years behind and he couldn't get a job, and he kept hounding my mom saying, "Oh, you're not letting me see her, blah 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 blah," and I just didn't want to see him. Since, like I said, like, I was fucking 10, 12, still I just didn't want to see him. I still don't want to see him. I don't have tolerance for that. And he was saying that they were keeping me away from him and all this bullshit. And then as soon as she took him off of the child support, he just stopped calling. Again, furthers my point. You give no fucks. Stop fucking with me. So when I realized, like, you know what? I am worth more than that. I deserve to be listened to, heard, understood. Like, I deserve this stuff. I deserve to be felt. I deserve to be felt on a deep and emotional level. I deserve to have that. I deserve to have relationships where people care about me, especially with that past relationship, my ex. When I was isolated, I realized I need people around me who are in my corner, who love me, who gives a fuck about me, who really care about me, and who want to see me do well. Like, I don't care about all these other relationships with people who don't give a fuck about me no more. I don't care. I don't have tolerance for that. I don't need tolerance for that. If you have tolerance for people who are treating you like fucking shit, I need you to sit there, take a breath, and think to yourself, is this relationship really helping me? Is this relationship really doing me a solid? Is this person really being a bro? Because if they're not, you need to find a way to spend less time with them. And if it is to the point where they are so toxic and they just will not change no matter what you fucking do, and they don't love you enough to change, or at least to meet you, because if they're not meeting you at your level, then they're somewhere down here or whatever, and they're off in their own land dealing with their own shit. So, like, even if someone is treating you like shit, just realize that they're dealing with their own shit, and it's not even has anything to do with you, but take time to take less time, right? And if you need to cut them off. I don't talk to my grandmother anymore. I don't talk to my father anymore. I don't talk to them. They call, I don't answer. I don't talk to them. I just don't do it. No. Sometimes I'll text my dad back. Very rarely. Most of the time, he ain't making no sense, because he's fucking drunk. So, just know, like, if you gotta cut him out, just fucking, you do it. It's for you. You're choosing yourself above everything else, and you're setting boundaries. Like, I don't tolerate this behavior anymore, so if you're doing this to me, I'm going to spend less time with you. And being firm in your boundaries and being clear on your boundaries, what it is, when it happens, how you feel, what it makes you feel like. And when you're clear on those things, and when it comes up, you're like, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm stepping away from that. That is something that I do not put my energy into. I do not expand upon. What you put your energy, what you think about, what you talk about, what you speak about expands. So we're not going to sit there and put any more energy into that. We're going to step back and become more of ourselves. We're going to choose ourselves over everybody else and whatever the fuck they're talking about, because what they're talking about is negative. It is painful. It is not something that I want to be dealing with. So I'm taking a step back. And you just need to be stern with yourself. You have boundaries with yourself, that you will uphold these boundaries. Do not let yourself down. Yes, you will fail. You will fail. That's just going to happen. You will fail. But when you take that time to love yourself, especially in a profound, amazing way, like, I like to hug myself, I like to caress myself, I like to tell myself I'm going to be okay, I like to wipe my, I like to do this, like, I'm a touchy-feely person, and like, you know, and I have my bear, and I can hug my bear and be like, okay, I love you, like, I'm not gonna leave you, you know, we're best friends, and we're homies for the, you know, for the rest of our lives and all that stuff. Do what you gotta do in order to soothe yourself. Do what you gotta do in order to help yourself. And that doesn't mean like run to somebody every single time. Sometimes you have to soothe yourself. And that doesn't mean run to a bottle. That doesn't mean run to a cigarette. That doesn't mean run to any drugs or anything like that. That means that you're able to be whole within yourself. That you're able to be your own best bro. Okay, now the tip of my nose is itchy. But like, you understand, like, I'm gonna put the blog post down in the bottom for boundaries. I'll remember because I have to watch this video anyway. So just be a bro for yourself. Be your own fucking best friend, right? And if you realize that there's something going on in your life that you want to change, sit with it, you know, and think about it. If you already know, take action. But if you don't know, sit with it. Think about it. Really think about how it makes you feel. What kind of interactions do you have? How does it like leave you after you're done? Like that type of thing, because you want to know, so you're able to set these boundaries. You're able to stand up for yourself. You're able to do these things for yourself, and it can be scary. I used to never speak up for myself. I would literally tell people my boundaries, crying, because I would be like, I feel like I'm destroying the entire world by speaking up for myself, and that is not what's happening. Self-love is not selfish. I know a lot of people say that, and it's true. Self-love is not selfish. It seems selfish to other people because you're taking time for yourself. Instead of taking time for them and their bullshit and their nonsense, you're like, I'm gonna put it into me because I know that I'm never gonna lose me. Whatever anybody does to me, I have me. They can't take it away from me. Yeah, they can take Bear, they can take my whatever, my phone, they can take everything. But I still have myself. I have my experiences. I have the things that I've gone through. And like I said, I believe in reincarnation. So even if they take my life, I still have all my memories. I still have all of my energy. And I will be rebirthed into something else at some point. It's just gonna happen. So what do I have to fear? I only get to be myself once. So I might as well, me, Jamila, in this body, in this place right now, in this age, with this bear, with the water in my body, with the food in with who I am right here and now, I only get to do it once. I may come back as another person, but not like this. Even if I came back with the same body, I'm not gonna have the same experiences. You get what I'm saying? So like, you are a unique, individual, amazing soul, person who, if you're able to change your mindset so that you choose yourself, that you're able to set these boundaries, that you're able to trust yourself, that you will love yourself, soothe yourself. I need to make a blog post about self-soothing. I think I'm going to do that. I don't know. Some it's coming up. It is important that you're able to do these things for yourself, because not everybody's going to be able to do them for you. And if they are able to do them for you, thank goodness, they're being very sweet, but they also need to be taking care of themselves. It is important that we take care of each other. Community is very important. But you come first and foremost, just like on the helicopter, well, whatever. If you're in a place and you're like, oh, you gotta put your life on, or like your oxygen on before you help your kid or whatever, same thing. Like, you have to make sure that you're helped before you can help other people, because that way you're pouring from nothing. Like, I want to give somebody a bunch of stuff. I'm not gonna pick up anything, and I don't have anything to give them, because I'm just giving them parts of myself. Instead of giving you this thing, I'm literally cutting you and giving you pieces of myself, and I'm losing myself as I'm doing it. That is what it looks like when you have no boundaries and you don't love yourself and you're not taking care of yourself. So if you're giving pieces of yourself away when you don't have to give, like, you need your fingers, you need your blood, I don't know if you need your hair, but like, you know, you need your things, and you can't just like give it away and expect to be okay. Like, that's not how it works, you know? It's just not how it works. So I hope you guys choose yourself, right? Because the first thing that starts with like figuring out who you are, figuring out what you believe in. If you don't have a higher power you believe in, like, maybe you believe in like the universe, and you can be like, you know, the universe is around us, it's massive, it's huge, like, we're going on the wheel of the universe, like, we're all hurtling through space billions of miles per hour in circles and forward and backwards, and we're headed towards another galaxy in a million years, and we're all gonna collide, and by then I will be dead and gone, okay? I am living here and now, right? And I'm gonna do what I can here and now to help people, help animals, help the planet, and do what I can to be a bro, be a steward, be a person, be someone who's gonna take care of what it is that they were given, because I will not stand by and just live this shitty ass fucking shit anymore. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and like let myself be taken advantage of anymore. I'm not gonna sit here and let myself like get my boundaries stepped on and all this stuff. I hope that cicada isn't loud because I don't have a mic in there anymore. So the first step is like identifying, is acknowledging that the shit is happening. And you might need to get a diagnosis. I ended up getting a diagnosis of PMDD. There might be something that you're going on that you need to go to a therapist, and that's fine. That doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean anything of that nature. It just means that you need a safe place to talk. And sometimes other people aren't exactly a safe place to talk, and you need more help than that. And my phone is dying. So I just want you guys to know I am proof that life gets better. I don't wake up depressed anymore like I used to. I wake up excited. I wake up ready for the day. I wake up ready to do the things I need to do because I know that I have a future that's waiting for me. I know that there's things that I need to do, and I don't see anything less than what I see for myself. And I'm not going to sit here and tell everybody because not everybody needs to know my business. But just know I'm going to be making a wave. I'm going to be making a splash. You're going to see me. And I hope that I see you because your life, you are so important. You are so valuable. You are so amazing. You are so spectacular. And I love you. And I don't need to know who you are. I don't need to see you to know that you are. Because we all are. We all have the ability within us to do these things and to be such an amazing person. And I just want you guys, I hope that you guys like share this with other people so that they know that your past does not dictate your future. It doesn't make you who you, it makes you who you are, but it does not hold weight on you anymore. Like it's past, right? But it's something that we need to acknowledge in order to make peace with it. Just like my childhood wounds, they kept reoccurring. I need to make peace with that. I'm doing that now. I'm doing what I have to do now. And doing these blog posts and doing these videos really helps me understand and learn and grow. And I don't know what I'd do if I wasn't here making these things. And I honestly don't even care if you guys are watching, because like I'm gonna do this regardless. This is what I meant to do. This is what I meant to do. Be a bro, be a whatever. Alright, my phone's about to die. I love you guys so very much. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of whatever part of the 24 hours you are on, and I just hope that this was inspiring. I hope that this helped you in to make a difference, to become a better person, to do what it is, a better person in your eyes, not mine. Better person for you and what you have to do and what you need to do in your life. I'm signing out. Me and Bear, we're off. I love you guys so very much. Don't forget to subscribe. I barely post anything, so you'll probably get any like once to twice a week on here on YouTube. And follow and share and like with people who like-minded or who need to hear this, because this is a powerful story, and I feel like more people need to hear it and know that like there is hope, there is a future for you. There are things waiting for you that you have to get your mindset right in order to receive. And I love you guys so very much. See you guys. Bye. Love you.